Hey everybody, this is Greg Cowboys 1964, and I'm here with Julian. Bill will be along in a moment here. Draft Lives underscore here is your Twitter handle. And what did you make of the group of five teams today?
Well, obviously they were kind of disappointing. I mean, Tulane, I thought they put up a good fight. Defense was stout in the first half. I mean, James Madison is they're a fun team. They're scrappy,
Yeah,
but they do not belong in the same game as Oregon.
no, and I think these group five teams need their own championship game. Tulane versus James Madison would have been a hell of a good matchup to see because the speed of these two teams is just not similar to what
Yeah,
Ole Miss and Oregon can put out in the field, right?
yeah.
And
No reason for them both to be in the playoff. Maybe there could be like a play-in. The two that you would choose, one of them can play. Just for the fun of it. But I don't see a universe where I don't even think any of them would beat Texas Tech, who's probably the weakest link in the college football playoff.
see, and now I'm a huge fan of the Red Raiders this year. I have them going all the way to the final. I don't care.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I
I,
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 I just love Texas Tech. I
I
absolutely love them.
I like
Uh,
them.
yeah. Oh,
I don't know if they'll make it all the way, but
I have them playing Indiana. Well, you know, but we'll see what happens, right?
oh
Um,
yeah, for sure.
it's basically these Group Five teams. These guys do have guys who will play in the NFL. There's no doubt about that. But overall, their team speed just does not line up when they're coming up against these Power Four schools. They just don't.
No, not even close. I mean, when you have a multitude of NFL talent on the field compared to like one or two, there's probably like four total James Madison players that'll be like a draftable player in this
Yeah,
class, and maybe another two or three in the next class. But compared to Oregon, who you could just start naming names, and you're like, yeah, that's top 30 pick, that's a top 50 pick. Well, yeah, that's one of the better tackles in the class. So it really does not stack up at all.
yeah, yeah. And of course, seeing this ESPN game tonight with Dante Moore is the number one pick according to Mel. I don't care what Mel Kiper says. I really don't. I really don't care who Mel Kiper says is the number one pick in this draft. Um, Mel is just his own self, right?
He is, but I don't I'll never discount what he has to say. He's been in the game for a long time, and you'll always have your hits and your misses. I respect what he has to say. Do I agree? No, especially not all the time, but
Yeah.
it's
Well,
it's worth
he,
listening to a little bit.
he's definitely fallen down in the last decade. So he's not somebody that I really give a whole lot of credence to. Like at one point in time, Mel was very good at this. He was very good at it, but no longer. I just don't buy his stuff anymore. You know.
That's obviously that's totally fair. I'd rather someone listen to me instead of him, but
That's right. Yep. Yep.
it's fine. I respect everyone's opinion, and Dante Moore is great. And he's showing it today, right? He could have choked in the big game. He's not even wavering. He's darting
Oh,
them up. So
he's just on fire.
so yeah,
But
he's definitely not better than Mendoza.
no, exactly. And Dante Moore is saying, I may come back to school because I'm just 20 years old. I may come back to school. And of course, every one of the announcers that have covered Dante Moore all seem to be fans of this New Jersey just end the season team, who all want him to be the next quarterback for just end the season. Um, it might not happen.
Well, if I were him, I'm not a financial advisor, but I don't think it'd be the smartest decision to go back to school with the current NFL draft class. I mean, we're talking about millions of dollars guaranteed at stake here. I'm sure, yeah, you could go back to Oregon, make yourself 4 or 5 million. If you declare for the draft right now, that's a fully guaranteed first round pick contract, probably a top five pick. I'll say definitely a top five pick. So
Yeah,
it wouldn't be a question if I'm in his position, but I'm not in his position. So we'll see where that goes. But I think the top two will be Mendoza and Moore, and that's it. I don't know if Simpson will declare. I think he should also declare. It's not going to do him any good to transfer out of Alabama. That doesn't usually help people. That's not favorable for many.
well, I, it's basically The reason why I do like the NIL is because kids are staying in school longer. I like that because they are student athletes,
Yeah.
right? And the word student has gotten so far removed from this equation that it drives me off the deep end.
It doesn't have to be. I agree. It doesn't, and it doesn't always have to be about the money. It could be about the education. These guys should choose to go to a good school for their education. But I mean, he's done 3 years of school, right? Two at UCLA. One at UCLA, two at Oregon. It's not like he's coming out of high school going to the big leagues. I think.
He also redshirted last year. I mean, he set out, right?
Yeah, and I don't need him to play. You know, I'm fine with 1-year wonders at QB. I'm fine with that because the NFL's job is to develop them, and then if they don't develop them,
that's the whole issue. Is the NFL coaches do not develop these kids? They don't.
It is, but
because again, they don't sit these guys on the sideline, especially when you're drafted in the top 5. You're going to be out on that field, and you're going to get killed because you don't have an offensive line in front of you.
I fully agree. But when you talk about going back to school, you think back to someone like Colt McCoy. I think Colt McCoy is my favorite example, not in a good way. You know, it wasn't. He was a top 10 pick, and he went back to school. And look at the way his career panned out. Colt McCoy is known for being a backup if you talk about the NFL, but he was a legend in the college football game for a few years. But the injuries pile up. It's tough getting hit over and over, and that's why Mendoza and Moore and Simpson are all fresh. I think it might be ideal to go to the NFL.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens when that time does come, right?
Yeah.
It's always going to be an interesting conversation as to who declares, who doesn't. You know, Lenore Sellers is staying at South Carolina, and Mensa is staying at Duke. Hello, what is going on there, right?
I don't agree with Sellers. I mean, he really must love that school. They really haven't surrounded him with any elite talent in the last few years, but that's fine. He should have definitely went back to school. Same thing with Mensa. Their stock isn't where it should be. They're not a top 10 pick. Neither of them would have gone top 10. Mensa would have been maybe, like that Jackson Dart pick where you trade up minimal amount to get that first round QB, which is still great, still guaranteed money. But I think Mensa has a lot more to show in college football.
But he could have gone to Florida. Sellers could have gone to Miami, like everybody was suspecting that they would. But nope, they're staying put, and that's a big shock. That's a big shock.
It is a big shock. I'm less shocked by Mensa again because Duke is good, and it's not like they're in the SEC playing these big competitions. ACC is good, and they just went to the championship. But I'm more shocked with Sellers because that team is genuinely bad. They're genuinely bad, and they play very good competition, and Sellers shows out week in and week out, and his team lets him down. So that's where I was a bit more like.
Yeah. I mean, but again, this is the reason why I always say to everybody that the football team matters. The guys who are there outside of you being the quarterback matter.
Yeah, right. It's a team sport, huh?
Yeah. But everybody's always focused on the quarterback, right? No. It just doesn't matter that you have a quarterback. I mean, you look at the Eagles, and I was not a guy who was anti Jalen Hurts when he came out, right? I mean, I said no, this kid will be a solid quarterback. That's it. I never said he was going to be a Pro Bowler or a superstar or any of that nonsense. But when you look at the guys that he has around him, that's what makes him successful.
Yeah, he in himself is not the best quarterback, especially this year. He looks injured. He looks like he did in 2023, but him and his team elevate each other. That's what they were doing last year. You don't have to have individual players. When you're a team, that's who wins the Super Bowl. The team wins the Super Bowl. And when it comes to Jalen Hurts, I don't think he's a top 10 QB, but I think he's definitely serviceable enough to win a Super Bowl. He's not Kenny Pickett or bottom tier QB that you can sign any day. So yeah. I'll give him my respect, but I definitely that team was built to win a Super Bowl between the roster and the high end players, future Hall of Famers on that Super Bowl roster. So
I mean, That's how you build a football team. Your quarterback does not have to be the main guy. And all of this insistence that everybody out there seems to have that if I don't have a great quarterback, I can't win is just nuts. It is insanity to me.
I think that could just be the talent disparity. I mean, we see it regardless whether it's college or NFL. If you don't have the top tier, it's just the talent drop off gets substantial the more and more you go. Like compared to like Dante Moore, compared to someone like Jake Retzloff of Tulane. You know, the bigger schools will have the better QB, and he's a projected first round pick compared to Retzloff, who might not even get drafted. I think he's an underrated prospect, but that's like a 7th round pick at most. So I think the talent disparity's bigger the more you go down the line.
Yeah. But again, everybody always questions, well, why did Dak Prescott wait until the 4th round to get drafted? Because, of course, his career at Mississippi State, he was phenomenal. Mississippi State has never been that high in the rankings as they were with Dak Prescott as their quarterback. But he didn't go until the 4th round. Well, I think he had a fine career, however, because he's the highest paid quarterback in the league.
Yeah, I fully agree. And there's a lot of scouting that goes into that, and I'm very excited for my Dolphins tomorrow, starting at a 7th round rookie. And maybe you're right. Maybe it really doesn't matter what type of QB you have in front. But we'll see. Maybe Quinn Ewers will solidify your point there.
Well, I have my doubts because I watched Mr. Ewers play. I'm sorry, but yeah. Unless he's learned how to settle his feet right down, I'm sorry, but
yeah, the mechanics. Well, that's the thing. He was very up and down. The mechanics, and then the just running into sacks in that Georgia game got him benched. But I think he persevered, and when you rewatch that Ohio State playoff game, man, they were just outmatched. No matter where you looked.
That was just a beat down.
And Ewers played very well. Like you turn on the film and it's like an A tier film, but they lost. And then you'll talk about the fumble to end the game.
Yeah,
he really had nowhere to go. He has Jack Sawyer bearing down from his side, and then there's 3 receivers that are covered. He tries to throw it, and it doesn't work out. And people often blame the QB, but that's definitely not on the QB. That's on the right tackle who got drafted, who got drafted ahead of Quinn Ewers. I find that hilarious.
Yes. But that's positional value. Value. And this whole draft is going to mess up positional value to a huge amount this year.
I value tackle very highly. I think I'd say QB, tackle. When it comes to the draft, I do value receivers pretty highly, because you can't always trot out veterans out there. I'll take the young guys over someone like trading for DJ Moore. But yeah, it definitely will be a weird draft because QB is thin, offensive tackle is thin at the top. Edge rusher, it's all undersized edge rushers this year, and that's not. People are complaining about Ruben Bain, and I don't know if I want to get into that because that gets me angry. I think Ruben Bain's the best defensive player in the class, not by far, but by a decent margin where you shouldn't be questioning it because he's got shorter arms.
I don't care about his arm length. I really don't.
You shouldn't.
Arm length is stupidity. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. That an offensive tackle needs to have this length and a defensive guy needs this length. That's all BS.
I fully agree.
You show me how many offensive tackles are fully extended against one of these edge rushers today. They're not. They have to do this in a much tighter area because the edge players come off that ball very quickly. You don't have time to be fully extended.
Yeah. Give me the get off. Give me the get off time compared to the arm length. That's way more important because if you literally do not have arms, a lot of players will just use a ghost move and dip with their shoulder. They literally do not need arms for certain pass rush moves. So I fully disagree with anyone. People saying he should be an interior defensive lineman. I think that is definitely stupidity. He's a fantastic player and he's going to be a dominant. I hope he slides. Make him slide to my Miami Dolphins, please.
In 2016, when what year did they draft Zach Martin? 15. He was playing left tackle for the Fighting Irish, but I said right away that this guy is going to be a guard. That is one of the rare instances where I said a tackle would be better off inside. That is a very rare instance for me, and I hate this. Oh, he's going to be a guard. Da, da, da. Huh? Um, uh, Will Campbell is a perfect example of that.
Yeah,
All last year, Will Campbell is going to be a guard. What are you talking about, a guard? He is a tackle.
I agree, and I think that's where it depends. Where I'll say often he'll be better suited, not because of his arm length, but it does depend sometimes. Compared to the get off, the slide protection for offensive tackles, they might not have the best first step. Someone like Tevin Jenkins had a really good first step, but he didn't have the athleticism and balance to stay at tackle. He gets put at guard. Not a great example because he struggled with injuries. He's not a good offensive lineman, but it's just stuff like that. It doesn't always have to be about arm length to go from tackle to guard, especially not for Will Campbell, who had a dominant career at LSU.
Just a second here. Okay. All right. So James Madison got a touchdown here. They've got 13 whole points now. They're rocking now. But um, there's just way too much speed with Oregon. There's
It doesn't make sense. And I knew this matchup. I knew this matchup wasn't going to go as well. I'm surprised that that Tulane got a beat down, and that's my Gators coach now. But it's two different levels of football, as you said.
Yeah.
The speed is completely different. You have freshmen there that are NFL ready at Oregon compared to seniors who might not even sniff professional leagues at James Madison. So
yeah, it's and again, I understand the antitrust situation, why these group of 5 teams are being invited in and all that other jazz. But you can't tell me that the Fighting Irish and Notre Dame would not have played a whole lot better than either one of these 2 teams did today.
definitely the biggest snubs you could possibly imagine. Even though Miami won today, and the Bama game, just because Bama came back, Notre Dame today beats Alabama, and they beat Miami, and they beat Texas A&M, and they beat Texas Tech. They beat JMU. They beat Tulane. Notre Dame is probably a top 6 team in the playoff right now if they actually got in. I don't understand how they deduce that. It's the NCAA sports are a different level.
Oh, hey, the playoff committee has said, hey, that head-to-head matchup week 1 mattered. Uh-huh. Oh, okay. So Miami wins by 1 point against a team that had a rookie quarterback who was told to throw the football 9 straight times. That was beyond belief to me when Denbrock did that. You have Mr. Love. You run the running back. That's how you win at Notre Dame is the running back. But again, Mr. Denbrock didn't do that. They lost week 1, right?
Even if you take that into account, I still think that they're a better team than Alabama. What did Alabama finish with? 4 losses or 3?
4.
Yeah, no. You see that to me does not get you into the college football playoff because then I think Duke.
Or no, 3 teams. They lost 3.
Yeah, but they still lost to what? Florida State week 1. If you're going to take week 1 into account and you lost to Florida State, keep them out of the playoff, man. And they lost to Oklahoma, and who was their 3rd loss? I can't even remember. Bad.
Well, they lost to Georgia.
Georgia, there you go.
In the SEC title game.
You lose. You don't even win the championship. If we're doing that, at that point, they could have put Duke in. I think Duke would have been a better team than Tulane. I think Duke has a lot of star power on that team. They just didn't start off strong. A lot of new players.
Yeah.
So if we're going with just like week 1.
I'm still convinced that the only way to do this is to get 16 teams in there. 1 plays 16, 2 plays 15. That's it. Because if we see these teams losing again this year who set out, I'm certain they're going to go to a 16 team.
I mean, maybe. The whole thing was Florida State going undefeated, but Jordan Travis got hurt. Do you keep them in? Do you not? Then you extend it obviously to the bigger playoff format, but you can't. If you leave Alabama out of the college football playoff, yeah, we miss out on a good Oklahoma-Alabama game from last night, but I don't think that really changes the landscape. I think Notre Dame could have gone all the way. I don't think Alabama goes all the way, and I could be proven wrong. This could all just be.
No. I'm telling you, the Fighting Irish would have been destroying teams this year.
I agree. I think I don't think they match up well against Ohio State again. But even then, if they make it to the final, if they're on the other side of the bracket, what are we doing here? That team's going to the final. Alabama doesn't stand a chance against Ohio State.
No.
But
again, it's going to be Miami who plays Ohio State.
Oh, and they're going to get absolutely destroyed. Miami's defense is great. Bishop Fitzgerald, fantastic game. 2 interception game.
I'm telling you, Ohio State's offense can be beaten.
Yes.
Indiana beat that Ohio State offense, and they beat them soundly. That's the one thing that drives me off the deep end, especially with these Big Ten fans, is that they think that they're always going to win. And I'm sorry, but those 3-star kids from Indiana beat up your 4 and 5-star kids, Ryan Day. That's it. That's the bottom line of that.
I agree, but I think Carson Beck might need to wear a diaper when he plays Ohio State. That game is not going to look good. I'm excited. You got great prospects to watch, like Francis Maunoa at right tackle. Yeah. Inez Cooper is not that bad. Brocker Meyer is not horrible, but again, now we're talking about like the more names I say, the less talent and the worse the player is compared to someone like Caden McDonald, Kenyatta Jackson, Caden Curry, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, Jermaine Matthews. These guys are going to feast, and then Caleb Downs. These guys are going to feast on the Miami offense. It's not even going to be close. That's my prediction. Again, could be wrong.
I don't disagree with you.
It's going to look like the Oregon JMU game.
But that Miami defense can slow down Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate.
I do agree.
And Jalen Sayin is not the all-world quarterback.
I fully agree.
This is the reason why I say that the quarterback is, yes, he's an important guy, but he's not everything. You look at that Ohio State team, their superstars are their wide receivers.
Yeah, and I think the offensive line has done a great job.
Yeah.
Play caller has done a great job on both sides of the ball. I don't think Sayin's ready, and I think people that project the 2027 QB class to be some all-world QB class, what are you basing that off? The potential? Sure. But I think we do this every year. And if we were right every year, I think Spencer Rattler and Sam Howell would be top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. So,
well, that was according to those people. See, when we do our draft show, I stay pretty quiet when it comes to the quarterback. I really do. I really stay quiet because, again, playing in the NFL is a whole different ball game than playing in college. Like I said with Bill last night, Drake May understood how to step up in the pocket. Marcel Reed didn't do that today.
Oh, no.
That's the difference. That is the big difference.
That game-ending pick was very painful.
Well, but again, Marcel Reed did not step up.
No, he steps back.
Yep.
He does the Shedeur Sanders, which is you step back when pressure's. Yeah, and if pressure's bearing down on you from your right side, you step back instead of up. It's a mistake.
And again, last year when we were doing, and that's the show that I was saying, because we did a mock draft show, and I had Shedeur Sanders going late in round 1. Oh no, that's not going to happen. No. That blah blah blah. Okay. Jeez. Day 3. Oh, he finally went. I don't care that his dad was Dion.
Oh no, that's definitely not.
There's a reason why NFL scouts did not like Shedeur Sanders, and it's because he backed up.
I think he did drop a bit farther than he should have, and he's playing relatively well for the like a 5th-round rookie. I still would have taken him top 50 in the draft, and I think he's playing well enough. I think he's playing on par with Dart compared to what you're looking at. Jerry Jeudy's probably the worst receiver in the league. He has just no effort week in and week out. He's throwing to undrafted free agents.
Yep.
Isaiah Bond, Malachi Corley, who got cut. Like there are avenues to discuss someone like Shedeur Sanders, but I fully agree. Stepping back as a quarterback is probably the worst thing you can do in the pocket, unless the pressure's coming diagonally towards you this way. You can step back, you could go to your left, but if you're getting, if it's coming straight to you from your right side, you just step up, you run for it. You're athletic enough, especially someone like Marcel Reed, who loses the game today because of his inability to maneuver the pocket at a high level.
And again, that's because they're all back in the shotgun. They're all back there. And that is stupidity to me. You need to put your quarterback under the center, just like you're playing in the NFL.
Yeah.
The whole spread offense thing is gone now. I don't see teams running out this spread offense all the time anymore because they're using their running back. They're running the football. Football's going back to what it was. Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
I definitely do. I do need my QB to line up under center at any level of football.
Yeah.
I think taking the snap is good, but it gets to a point, especially in college, where you are no longer threatened. And I think that's what we're seeing with someone like Mendoza. They run like a 25% RPO rate on first and third down. It becomes obvious, and that's why they started struggling in the game, especially that Penn State game. Ohio State obviously has a great defense, but you get predictable play calling. You're just running RPO. If you have safeties coming down, they're not threatened. There's no play action from under center. You're not booting your quarterback.
Yeah.
I do need that. If I'm coaching, I do want that because I don't want it to be obvious every single play. You see it too much.
Because I have this bias against the conferences, being a Notre Dame guy. Tiananmen, who played at Purdue last year, has stood out in this game for the Oregon Ducks. He has been phenomenal. And this is why I was saying before this season started that young man could be as high as a Caleb Downs.
Oh, yeah.
You watch him play, and this guy is just outstanding. Again, positional value, though. He's not going to be – I don't buy that this year. I don't buy that. I think you're going to see maybe 3 safeties go off the board very early this year.
I'm not sure if Thieneman declares. I would love to see him declare.
He will.
I think he could be next year's Caleb Downs if he stayed, though. See, so that's where it's.
But again, I think that he came to Oregon for one reason, and that was to move up in the board this year. He wants to be in the NFL.
Oh, and if he will be, him, Halsey, Downs, definitely top 50, and then you got guys like. I haven't seen anything. I don't think Earl Little is going to declare from Florida State, but he's someone that I really like. And then Kamari Ramsey did declare.
Yeah.
Jalen Kilgore, but that's more of a slot defender. But you can always package those two together. Someone like Caleb Downs plays linebacker, safety, slot. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, if people understand what a rover was in the old days, that's what these guys are now. They're rovers.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing to see come back into football. Now, if the officials would, and this goes to the NFL GMs and the owners and all, if those clowns would actually allow defenders to attack a team for 10 yards, we'd get back to real football instead of this 5-yard BS.
I think I like the 5 yards. I think the NFL has a really strict, the referees haven't been fantastic this year, but I think college football, it's not been too bad. You'll get those select few games, but I do like the aggressive type of player, and I think someone like Thieneman, who sealed the game against Penn State, he's playing fantastic today. He has great open field tackling, great coverage, great length, sideline to sideline speed. I'm excited. If he is going to declare, I'll take your word for it. So far, I actually posted today the underclassmen who have declared. It's not a big list.
No.
0 underclassmen QBs.
Oh, gee. Now, did you happen to see any of the FCS game?
Today, I didn't. No, I did. Yes, I saw a bit of it.
Montana State absolutely pounded Montana. I mean, they just pounded them.
But they're just the better team, and they have
Yeah,
been. It's always NDSU, Montana State, but now NDSU got knocked out, so it's Montana State.
yeah. Well, seeing NDSU, what? Okay, how did that happen? But again, they didn't play well that day. They just
Uh,
didn't.
Outcoached, outplayed.
Yeah.
You're not going to win a football game if you have those two things going against you.
Yep. Yep. But yeah, the FCS. I'm not too sure what's going on. Let's just see here. Let's see what the score is. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, Illinois State is beating Villanova 30-6. So
Illinois State looks good, and
yep,
that's good for them.
yep,
I think a few years ago when I first started getting into the draft, I think they had a safety named Christian Upshaw who was
yep.
super good, but he never. I don't think he materialized anything in the NFL.
No, no,
But he was very fun to watch at the time,
yeah.
and I do want to shout out Malik Willis for throwing an absolute bomb touchdown to Romeo Dobbs right now. And I'm a big Malik Willis guy, so I'm very happy to see that.
Well, I would. Okay, well, we all basically just said Malik Willis was not ready for the NFL. I mean, there was everybody was so hyped up on this guy, but again, he needed time to
Oh,
develop.
of course. But I think it gets to a point where there's no NFL QB that's ready to play for the Tennessee Titans. No Cam
No,
Ward, no Will Levis.
no,
Definitely not Malik Willis. It gets to a point where you need an entire regime change. But the way the Titans have been handling it, I mean, they're a complete mess. I would hate to be in that front office every day because you never know with that owner. She'll fire you if you breathe in the wrong direction. Apparently, so it's never a fun. That's never a fun experience.
okay. It's 41-13 for the Ducks, and Madison is now punting. They just got it blocked, and the Oregon Ducks score. It's horrifying.
I would never. I would never expect anything different in that type of game.
Yeah, yeah.
You,
Um,
who do you have? So now, what is it? The next round's pretty much confirmed. Who do you have winning the next slot of games?
okay, so let's just go there. All right. Um, all right. So the Cotton Bowl is on the 31st of December. It'll be Miami versus Ohio State. Gee, I think it's going to be the Buckeyes, but like I said, that Miami defense could do some damage.
I fully agree. I just don't think that Miami offense can counter. Can do a little bit of teamwork. I
Yeah,
think it's going to be a one man show for that defense, and then eventually, just bend don't break, but you might just end up breaking. So
yeah. And let's just see now. It'll be Ole Miss versus Georgia.
I'm gonna go Ole Miss on a revenge game. They almost had them last time. The game just lasted a little bit too long.
They made several errors to end the game. I mean, that was
Yes, yeah, of course, but that's why the game lasted a bit too long. Cut it down by 10 minutes. I think they might win that, but I'll go with Ole Miss. I think they're on a heater, new coach, and just kind of as a sayonara to Lane Kiffin,
yeah, yeah.
beat Georgia, which he couldn't do in the regular season.
Well, Paul Golding is a very popular guy. You see them. You see them with the visors today,
Yeah,
uh,
no, they definitely love him.
which of course has now been cut since he's become the coach. But you know, that's the bottom line there. Um, it was. I think Old Miss, depending how Lacey's shoulder turns out, because he went off with that shoulder.
Yeah, I'll go assuming he plays, they'll win. If they're down their best running back, one of the better running backs in the country, then I might change things. I think
Yeah,
it'll be close. I'm not saying Ole Miss is going to blow them out. I think Ole Miss will win the game, close, um, and that'll be all for now. I'm not going to go in any crazier than that. That's already
no,
crazy enough.
I kind of agree with you that Old Miss, because they should have won that first game. They should have. They
Yeah,
should have absolutely won that game. But again, they made too many errors to end that game, and you can't do that. You can't give teams a shorter field, obviously, and even the Georgia offense was horrible. The injuries could give Mississippi issues. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Again, like I said, we don't know if Lacey's going to be healthy for that game or not. But if he is, I think that Ole Miss has enough defense to stop Gunnar Stockton.
yeah. I that's why I will go. Like I said, just basic prediction. Fully healthy, I'll go Ole Miss. Without Lacey, I mean that run game would just be so different. I'll have to go Georgia by default. You know, it's one of those things that's a big key component missing. The same way I'd probably automatically rule out Georgia if Gunnar Stockton was hurt,
Yeah, yeah,
or if Kirby Smart stopped coaching. You know, those are different things.
yeah.
Lacey's up there when it comes to importance on that offense.
Can we say the U is officially back, and is Texas always a bridesmaid, or Texas A&M always a bridesmaid, never a bride? Okay, all right. Um, the U is back on defense. That's why they're where they're at today. Their offense is got the young kid, who of course had the fumble, and everybody came, oh yeah, well, you're gonna be fine, but yeah, and they scored the touchdown to win the game. You know, but the U has Cristobal as their head coach. And I'm sorry. If you watch what he did with the Oregon Ducks, teams that should have been national championship type teams, and you just saw what he did to those teams, I'm sorry. You should not be the head coach anywhere. But again, he is. Um, so you tell me, is the U officially back?
No, I'm glad that they're doing good. I don't hate any of their players. I like Carson Beck enough to think that he's done a decent job at quarterbacking the team, but it's not going to end well for them next week. So
Yeah,
I can't say that. I mean, are they officially back in the playoffs? Yeah, they're officially back in the playoffs, and they beat Texas A&M, which I didn't expect. I thought they would lose to Texas A&M. So kudos to them winning the game. They'll be out of the playoffs next week, and we'll see where it goes next year. They don't have a QB. They're going to have to look in the transfer portal. And like you said, you're thinking Sellers, you're thinking Mensah, you're thinking Ty Simpson. If those three are off the board, then
yeah,
slimmer pickings. And it's not nothing crazy, but slimmer pickings. You go Sam Levitt, who's injured, you know. So I can't say they're back. And then definitely, I mean, at Texas A&M, it's been a rough go of things, especially now with Marcel Reed. You're kind of you
I
definitely
don't care what school it is in the state of Texas. I really don't. If it's the Longhorns, if it's the Aggies, if it's the Cougars, the SMU guys and all that. If they're a school in Texas, they're going to be a bridesmaid. I'm sorry, they just are.
Yeah, but I will give it to. I mean, I guess you're right, but Texas last two years had very good runs, losing to Washington in the semifinals, and then Ohio State in the semifinals. So
But again, they're the bridesmaid.
Yes, that's why you are right. I was going to say no, but yeah.
This goes back to when I was a kid and I would travel down to Texas to see my Aunt Martha, who would take me to the Thanksgiving Day game, and then it was the Texas Christian Horned Frogs. I mean, she loved her Horned Frogs. She loved TCU. So and when I went first down there, those Texas Longhorns, they're pretty good. Don't you ever talk like that. What? The Aggies? Oh, no, they're awful. Oh, okay. I mean, and I'm talking not just my aunt, but other people down there despise these other schools. If they have one school, that was it. That was all. And they hate everybody else. I mean, the hatred is massive.
So sorry, are you a Horned Frogs guy, or you just don't? You don't?
Well, no, that was my aunt's team.
You didn't follow that. You don't care for any Texas team.
Well, I'm a Cowboys fan, right? But
yeah,
But again, the entire history of football in Texas is just hatred. These schools despise. Look at Bill. He's understanding what I'm saying here because I'm serious. I've seen men who are neighbors. One's a Texas A&M guy. The other is a SMU guy, and they don't even discuss anything come Saturday. Nothing. There is no contact whatsoever. They hate each other. It's like, oh,
yeah. There are married couples who don't talk to each other for a day or two. So forget neighbors. Forget neighbors.
Yeah. It gets ugly down in Texas. I'm serious. And if you think that the college is ugly, high school football is just as awful down there.
Sure it is.
Lord.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Sometimes worse. Yeah.
Yep. So again, like I said to before Bill joined us here, I was just saying to Julian when I used to go down to Dallas for the game on Thanksgiving Day with Aunt Martha. Every Saturday, we were off to TCU, right? I mean, that was it. If TCU was playing a home game, we were there. That was it. And she loved her Horned Frogs. She loved them. So I mean, that was just her team. And if I mentioned somebody that played at A&M or the Longhorns, settle down. Those no, they're just okay. Yeah. Well, Mr. Bill, the group of 5 teams getting destroyed.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I think that if South Florida had made it through, because you mentioned speed, right? That's one thing South Florida has. They would have given a slightly better account of themselves, I think, against a team like Oregon or against a team like Ole Miss. Now, Ole Miss is going to score points on anybody, right? That offense is one of the best offenses in the country. They're going to score on whoever you are. They'd score on Georgia. They'd score on Alabama. They'd score on whoever you run out there. They're going to score on them. But you could see the difference in both speed and once again just line play. You could see the difference there.
Yeah.
So it was to some extent not the right. And the hill I'm going to die on also is that San Diego State University would have given either of those teams that ended up playing the other group of 5 teams more of a fight. They don't have the world's most interesting offense, but their defense is really, really good. That is a terrific defense that and super well coached. Like if you just want to watch an extremely well coached defense, watch the Aztecs of San Diego State University. They are extremely well coached.
How many Aztecs do you have on your board this year, Bill?
I have 4, and that's early. I mean, that's I'm still not done. I don't know what it is they do, but they always have at least 2 secondary players every year that I like. It never fails. Sometimes it's a corner and a safety. Sometimes it's 2 safeties. Sometimes it's a corner and a nickel. Sometimes it's 2 corners. But every year for decades. They always have at least 2 secondary players that I like. Shout out to Nat Burray, right, who I got a chance to actually know a little bit in his days at San Diego State University, and Darren Hall. And I mean, it's just a lot of really good players. And every year, it doesn't seem to ever fail. They are consistent with it. But yeah, you saw Tulane play at Ole Miss in the past, and they did what they could, right? But Tulane just doesn't have certain players at certain positions. They have one really good pass rusher, right? And he got there a little bit, but they don't have the mix of interior and exterior players on the defensive line that can consistently create pressure.
Right.
They don't have enough players in the secondary who can consistently stay. I mean, Stribling is a monster. I mean, that guy is really, really good. He's not talked about enough, quite frankly.
I fully agree.
He's a really
I
good
have to put a stop to this episode here, however, because Mr. Carroll,
yes,
you're not wearing a tie tonight.
So I'm on the road. Yes,
I know. I get this, but I'm shocked. Right?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I actually thought at one point about tossing. I thought I foolishly said I'll be home in time. So I didn't toss a button-up shirt and tie into the bag that I have on me. I grabbed some things from my lovely traveling companion and not for myself, just assuming I'll make it home in time. Did not. So I'm actually at the home of a relative-in-law, I guess. Sort of a former relative-in-law, I guess, technically speaking. But I have a daughter who's in town, and that's where she's staying.
Yeah. But again, folks, Mr. Carroll does own things other than a big shirt and tie. He does have other clothes.
I have a whole bunch of different kinds of clothing, but generally speaking, if it's a home game for me, you're going to see me in a suit, or at least a button-up shirt and a tie. But I am on the road. I am from a undisclosed location. But I for those of you that did not check out Montana State, you missed out.
Oh.
You missed out. I apologize for what you missed. And speaking of, you talked about pure, like cold filtered, unstepped on, unmitigated hate. That is one of the great rivalries in all of college football. Mm-hmm. And they had a fantastic game. Harding gave good accounting of itself, but Ferris State is just too much for anybody at the Division II level right now. And once again, Trinidad Chambliss, of course, spent the first couple of years of his college career playing for Ferris State. And Ferris State's building. Tony Annese, as I've said before, is one of the best college football coaches in America, period, at whatever level. And that Ferris State team is just, you just can't do anything with them. They're going to, I'll be shocked if they don't win it again next year.
Yeah, pretty much. Your Illinois State is also hammering Vanderbilt currently. So
I'm feeling very good about that prediction.
Well, that was pretty. It was pretty obvious last night too that Villanova was not going to handle.
Yeah, and they have a chance. I mean, I would not pick them to win the national championship, but they have a good chance against whoever they face. Once again, as I say, defense travels. And that Illinois State defense is real. That is a real defense. And they have another secondary that has guys who I think will play in the NFL in that secondary. Yep. So that gives them a chance, right? They're going to be good at taking away the ability to get those deep strikes in the passing game. And now the question is, since they're, most likely going to face a dominant run game, obviously, how do they hold up against that run game? That's the only real question. If they can prevent them from getting the ball just basically shoved down their throats in the run game, they'll be in that game to the end.
I think is Villanova the FCS DBU? It might be.
Villanova's pretty decent at that. Yeah. Also, they've got some guys, obviously, but Illinois State has some guys in their secondary too. Like I just said, if you haven't watched the Redbirds, they've got.
Well, I mentioned Christian Upshaw, who was one of my favorite. That was a 2021 class or 2020.
Yeah, there you go.
I was young, but I definitely liked Christian Upshaw.
2021. I'm pretty sure.
I like how you said you were young. I love how you put that, Julian. I think I may own socks older than you, but I love how you said that, though.
Well, that was infancy for me when it comes to talking about football and then learning about the sport. If that's 2021, that's I was 16.
Oh,
so.
Wow, yeah. Sheesh.
Bill,
Oh, yeah. So
yeah,
yes.
Bill and I are much older than Julian is. Okay.
Yeah. So you and my daughter are probably about the same age, is what I'm realizing.
Yeah, I'm 21. So.
Yeah. So you're slightly older than my daughter, but not much older.
Madison just scored another touchdown. They've scored 20 points against the Oregon Ducks.
Yeah, well, if you remember, that was my almost exact prediction that Oregon would at some point, if you watch College Football Forecast, get a big lead, and then they'd be clawed back by James Madison. Will make this game look, whether it was close or not, will look close when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
They will deny Oregon a cover. Watch.
Oh yeah. That's their whole goal is to end the cover. It's
a good goal to have, actually.
What was the spread? 20?
20 and a half.
20 and a half. Yeah.
I don't know if they'll get it that far, but
we'll see.
Well, if they score another touchdown, they'll go for 2 points. They'll go for the 2 points.
They definitely will.
Just to get under that cover. They want that. They don't want to be covered by 20 and a half.
Correct. Yeah, and you have to set yourself goals as a competitor. And while it would be super cool to walk out of there with a win, I think they understood the challenge they were up against. And now what they're doing is just trying to win this series, win this play, win this quarter, right? And if you can do that, you can hold your head up high when you leave that field. And I'm just to remind people, they've only been an FBS program for a handful of years. They were an FCS.
They've only been eligible for the last 3 seasons for their own conference championship.
Right. And they were a terrific FCS program for many years. And obviously, I used to see them, go up against William and Mary and others. And it was just, fantastic football. But this is once again, another well-coached team. They are a team that's coached well. They're going to play whoever it is you put against them hard. And if that team lets up, they will score on them. and they'll continue to score on them.
Their coach will be going to UCLA, and I'm telling you, he will bring some of these guys to Los Angeles with him.
Right. Well, he watched what Signetti did. Right. He watched what Signetti did, and he, what's the old saying that a good artist borrows, a great artist steals? I think it works for coaches as well. I mean, you saw it. You're going to follow the same blueprint because success leaves tracks.
Yep.
I think I will say this. I'm going to say 2 things about James Madison, and then I'm going to have to log off on the show here. But the first thing I will say, it's been a pleasure talking to you guys again. Love the show every time I'm on. But Alonzo Barnett, we were talking about QBs earlier. On the first drive, setting the tone. I think it was the first play. That block on a defensive back, that's just the stuff that every coach loves. Yeah. And James Madison, no matter what we talk about, the G5 might not belonging in the playoffs. They tried their best. This is it's like a scrappy team. They're not all good, but I saw the post. They have 0 5-stars and 10 4-stars. Respect to them. Respect to Tulane as well. It's a ragtag team, and I don't want to see it abolished. But if this was the last year, or maybe the second to last year, seeing G5 teams in the playoff, I mean, it was one heck of a ride.
Yeah. I hope there'll at least be a spot held.
I agree.
I would like to see at least a spot held.
Yeah. But again, the way that this Power 4 has so many more athletes compared to what these G5 schools get. The group of 5 schools, like you said, they only get so many 4-stars. They get a lot of 3-stars and 2.5 stars. That's what their talent level is. You go up to Oregon and they've got 5-star guys, 4-star guys, and a couple of 3-star guys. That's it. I mean, you're going to get pounded.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened to Boise State last year.
Yeah, but go ahead and cover that spread, and it's still very impressive, and I'm sure it'll frustrate a few people with some money on the game.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly right. So, What else are you working on here, Julian?
Oh, well, every single day working on the draft board, grading every single player. We got, 6 months before the big day. So slowly posting it on Twitter, started also posting on YouTube. Love what you guys do. Inspires me every single day. So I don't stream, but I have been posting videos, obviously under the same name, Draft Lives Here.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So,
The transfer portal takes place the 2nd to the 15th of January.
Right.
It's going to be an awful mess, I think.
Right.
Or
a delicious mess, depending on how you feel about the transfer portal.
Yeah. Depends on how much money you have to spend to get these guys and all this other jazz that we now deal with. But is January the right time to actually have a transfer portal, Bill?
So it's funny you asked, right? And I know people hated the double, the two windows. And I understand that a little bit. I still feel like maybe there should be a specific window for those that are almost forced into the portal, for lack of a way to put it, like their coach left or something happened, right? There's something that they just decided to do to test the waters, to test the market. And almost like the supplemental draft and the regular draft, right? I almost feel like there'd be a supplemental portal and then the regular portal. And I think that the regular portal should happen a little later, right? And maybe you could do the supplemental portal around the time that coaches get fired. And right, and that would be just for those where, like I said, something happened. Their program shut down, right? Or they, like I said, something happened, like their coach left, their coach, whatever. Something happened where their situation changed abruptly. And then there should be a regular portal. And then maybe between the two, you could have a, I don't want to call it a legal tampering period, but a period of communication, I guess is what you could call it, a period of contact, a period of communication.
Yeah.
That's what I think I might lean towards. Push the regular portal a little later, have the supplemental portal, which is open for just a very short amount of time, just for those that are essentially displaced where it wasn't their choice. It wasn't something that they wouldn't wanted to do, basically. Just for those
players. The coach gets fired 5 weeks into a season, right? Players now have 30 days to declare. Right. So I mean that's already done as far as when a coach gets fired. I still think that the portal needs to go February through to the middle of March. That sound better to you?
Yeah, because it gives things a chance to settle down, and it's not.
It also means that coaches get to stay put.
Right, coaches get to stay put, and also means the guys that have declared for the draft have already come to their decision, right? So, because you've already had that window close.
Mm-hmm.
Now the two windows overlap, which can sometimes complicate issues.
That's right. I mean, we saw the Tulane coach, the James Madison coach. They're both leaving their schools, but they stayed for the playoff.
Yep.
That's makes more sense to me than what, of course, Lane Kiffin ended up with, right? I mean, that was just a total nightmare. Or when it's some of these other coaches have left their schools, and no, there's no need for that.
Right. Well, I think sometimes there's a fear of poaching. I think it's part of why that happens.
Yeah. But again, LSU going after Kiffin the way that they did was pure poaching. That was just that's just wrong.
Yeah.
Sure. It just absolutely sucks as far as I'm concerned. So our next 4 games, Mr. Bill.
Yes, sir.
Miami versus Ohio State, the Cotton Bowl.
Yep.
What do you have for that game?
I would love to pick an upset there, but I can't. I just feel like Ohio State's defense is going to give Miami such problems, and we saw them have big problems at times in this game. And Texas A&M didn't, frankly, capitalize on some of the opportunities they had. I think Ohio State will capitalize on those opportunities. I just feel like that's probably about a 10-point win for Ohio State.
Yeah. We already discussed Indiana, Alabama. I'm sorry, but boy, the Crimson Tide is about to get a beating. They are going to get a beating.
And their running game is not what you normally think when you think Alabama football.
Yep.
And now that means you're going to have to drop back and throw the football. And that plays directly into the hands of that terrific Indiana defense. And I know people have this blockage in their minds when they hear Indiana, and they're still thinking about, a scrappy team that maybe guts out 5 or 6 wins. That's not this.
This is not the Lee Corso years, okay? No.
It's not the Bill Mallory years. It's none of those. Right?
Years. Yeah,
no,
exactly.
This is something very, very different. Google them as you've been directed to do.
As Mr. Signetti tells people, Google me. Go ahead.
And he's right. He's right. Yeah. If you haven't, you should have. For me, the only way Alabama can do this is if they are able to get a lot of great run after catch kind of situations with their receivers. Yeah. They do have receivers who are capable, if they catch the ball in space, of making people miss or breaking tackles and making big plays. That's it. That's the only chance they have in my mind, because their running game, I don't think, is going to be able to get on track. And there'll be too much pressure for the deep passing attack. They'll have to keep throwing the ball short and intermediate, and then ask those guys to make plays after the catch, which some of them are capable of doing. I mean, both Bernard and Williams are talented guys, but they'll have to have the games of their lives to make this, happen for Alabama. But I'm definitely leaning. I think it's going to be a fairly close game, but I'm leaning Indiana.
Now, if Lacey's shoulder is fine for Ole Miss, and they don't have the same errors that they had in game 1.
Yeah, right. That's a big if, but yes.
Obviously they had that first game against Georgia, and they had the Bulldogs beaten until they started making mistakes.
Yep.
That last 10 minutes of the game just killed them.
Yeah, they put them back in the game. They could have put them out.
Exactly.
To me, this will come down to 2 things. One, are you able to force Gunnar Stockton to make very rapid decisions, make very quick decisions, or is he get to extend plays? If he gets to extend plays, he can make things happen. Like, he's a little bit underrated, which I don't often say about Georgia players, but he's a tiny bit underrated. I think people are sleeping a little bit on Gunnar Stockton. He is a little more athletic and a little more accurate than I think people realize.
Yeah.
He's capable of not winning it by himself, obviously, but turning a game if you give him the opportunity. If you keep him in the pocket and you push the pocket sort of into his lap, right? If you open up rush lanes, though, he's a good enough athlete that he will get through there and either, get a ball off, deep down the field, because he has a better arm than, once again, I think most people realize, or he can take off and run. But if they keep him in the pocket and they force the ball out of his hands quickly, they'll win that game. And to me, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. And Oregon versus Texas Tech. I'm just like, okay, this is going to be a nightmare game for me, because I've said it all along. I love the Red Raiders.
Yep.
Their offense and their defense. I like both their sides. Their special teams have been very good as well.
Yep. Oregon
matches up masterfully against Texas Tech.
They do. I still like Texas Tech, but not very much. Right? This is probably the closest of all the games. I think this is not just one score game, but this could literally be like a 1-point kind of game. This game could be 30-31. This game could be 23-21. I mean, that kind of game. It could be that kind of close.
Yep. And I'll take Texas Tech because I've said all year that I think Texas Tech. Again, I would have loved to have seen Texas Tech play Texas A&M because you
Sure.
want hatred. That's hatred.
That is.
Those, like I said earlier, those Texas teams despise each other, and
Right.
to have seen those two go up against one another would have been heaven. I mean, heaven.
Right. I agree.
But again, Texas Tech, I think their defense can slow down Oregon's offense. They can
Agreed.
slow them down. And that's something that Oregon did not handle well against Indiana.
Right. Agreed.
Right?
Yep.
So I'm gonna lean Texas Tech. I agree with you. I think it could be like a 24-23 or 21-20 or 27-26, whatever the number comes out to be. But yeah, I'm gonna have Texas Tech. And I'm still gonna take, if Lacey is healthy, I'll take Ole Miss over Georgia. Because there's just all that luck that the Georgia Bulldogs have had this year has to run out sometime. It has to run out.
Yeah, it may run out a week later.
It might end up a week later, but again,
I'm very split on that. That's the game that for me is the hardest. I feel like Georgia is built to some extent better than Mississippi, even though they're not as talented. They're built attitudinally for these kinds of games in a way that Ole Miss in the past has not been. I'll put it that way. Now we'll find out. Maybe this is a different team.
This game is at a neutral site. It's no longer.
That helps, right?
It's not in Athens like the first.
That does help, right? And it's not in Atlanta, right?
That's right. So this time, Georgia fans have to travel a lot farther than the Mississippi fans do. Mississippi's right close to New Orleans.
True.
They're right beside them. And again, the Ole Miss crowd today, nobody left that stadium. Nobody.
Right.
They stayed, even though they knew that they had that game won. They just stayed. And as they are apt to say down in Mississippi, we win every party that there is. So they love the party.
Yes, they are very that they may or may not win the game, but they will definitely win the party. You are correct about that.
That is, I guess, it's been voted as the best tailgate place to go.
Yeah.
So
and richly deserved.
Yeah. I was down there a couple of times, and Oxnard is a fun place.
Yes, well put. It is a fun place.
Yeah, it's a fun place. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it there. But yeah,
we will. That's exactly where we'll leave it.
Yeah. Those pretty decent 4 games we got coming up though.
Correct. 100%.
James Madison's going for the 2 points. They just scored the touchdown, and like I said, they're going.
I told you, they're going to deny them. They're going to deny them a cover.
Yep,
that was my prediction. They would fight back towards the end and deny them a cover.
Oh, they just missed. But there's still 10:26 to go.
Oh, well, there we go.
Before you came on with me, I was speaking about Tiananmen, the great safety for the Oregon Ducks.
Yep.
I think he's going out for this draft. I think he comes in. I don't see him staying at Oregon. And before this season started with Randall, I said, because Caleb Downs is always going to be the number 1 guy. There's a kid that played at Purdue who's going to be a very good player for the Oregon Ducks this year, Tiananmen. And he was, Randall was, of course, agreeing with me. He had a super first half tonight. I mean, a super first half. If people do not watch the West Coast teams play football, as we know so many people don't, you've missed out.
Yep.
Because, I've got three safeties going in round 1 this year right now, Bill. I have 3.
Oh, be still my heart.
I know.
That's awesome. I hope that does happen.
I really think this whole positional value BS here that we always hear these draft guys talk about goes out the window this year. It goes out the window because there's so much talent at linebacker and safety this year, and even the tight end. The tight ends are very good this year. We're seeing one play tonight for the Oregon Ducks. Hello.
Yes, you are.
If that young man isn't going to be an NFL superstar, I don't know who is. And if the Kansas City Chiefs want to replace Travis Kelce, there's your guy. In round one, I take him. I take him in round one.
Yeah, he's got some sort of Evan Ingram-esque kind of qualities to him, and he has a chance to be a very good player. He needs to get probably a little physically stronger. Doing what you wanted to do. Yeah.
But again, you go to an NFL training camp and you get into their weight room and they'll feed you those peanut butter sandwiches, as we call them. The peanut butter sandwich will certainly help Mr. Sadiq.
Yes.
And again, the offensive tackle class is a lot less. There are more third, fourth, and fifth round guys in the tackle class this year than we've had in a long time.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yes, the right tackle.
There'll be a run early on the yeah.
He's the best. He's the best tackle in the country.
Right.
There'll be and he doesn't play left tackle. Oh.
Right. So the run, there'll be a run on those guys who are seen as day one starters. Yeah. So the top three to five tackles will go even probably earlier than they probably should, and then you'll have a gap. That's what I predict will happen. And then people will wait on the developmental guys until deep into day two, and then
we're not going to have the run that we had 2 years ago. But that was just another tackle. It was just all 3 days of that draft was just tackle after tackle after tackle. It was just unbelievable, right? I don't see that happening this year.
Right.
And again, as I pointed out with Jalen earlier, this movement that they always say that this guy needs to become a guard. I disagree with that. Because how many times do we see an offensive tackle extend his arms out today? We don't. See them going with that big distance because the edge rushers are too quick. They come at them too quickly. So again, you don't need to have a 33-inch arm or a 34-inch arm and That's all BS.
While you would certainly like to have arm length, feet is really what decides if you're going to survive out there. If you don't have the feet, it won't matter what you're doing with your arms. You could have the world's longest arms. If you got, I can think of some guys, some very long arm tackle types who didn't make it because they didn't have the feet.
That's right, and that's the thing that you and Jeff taught me was it's the slide step, it's the footwork that really determines whether a tackle is going to be able to make it in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I don't care how long a guy's arms are. I really don't. It drives me off the deep end. I mean, we've seen enough guys in the NFL, Rashawn Slater, all these guys, Will Campbell this year.
Yeah, Will Campbell this year.
How many guys last year were saying, Campbell's going to be a guard, Campbell's going to be a guard. What are you talking about? Yeah. This kid is a tackle. He plays the position masterfully. And he doesn't. He doesn't have the arm length. Guess what? He has footwork.
Yeah,
which is far more important.
Right.
So, I think our shows will help people understand.
Hopefully, yeah.
That the size thing, it doesn't really matter.
Well, I mean, size. If you have a choice between a guy who's got everything you want and is bigger, you would chase the bigger guy. But we've seen, as you just pointed out, proven again and again and again, that if you are a dynamic enough athlete, you can make up for. I mean, we all remember hearing when Aaron Charles Donald, came into the combine 276 pounds, and people were like, "Oh no, what are we going to do? We're going to play him." We're going to put him on the field and play him. That's what we're going to do. And, he was listed at 288. He, after retirement, he said, I was rarely ever even that heavy. He played most of his career somewhere between the upper 260s and probably, upper 270s. Right. Mid to upper 270s. And guess what? He was the strongest human being on the field pretty much all the time. If a player has enough special ability, they can make up for a lot of things. And I just think people fixate, and I get how there are prototypes, and there's prototypes for a reason. You don't want too many exceptions on your team. You want most of the players in your team to be guys that, check certain boxes, but you don't pass up on special talent just because they're a little too light or their arms half an inch too short, or that's the road to insanity.
Could you imagine Darryl Green in this era? And people, well, that guy's way too small to. Hello, no, he's not. He is just fine. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing is you've got to know how to evaluate the ones that
talent versus size.
Right. And height by itself is not a talent. Right. Exactly. No. Correct.
As a Cowboys fan, I suffered through those Darryl Green years many times, watching that little man destroy the Cowboys either as a returner or as a DB. I mean, he was phenomenal.
Yes, would be the accurate term to use.
And now, of course, in Dallas, you had Nahshon Wright. Well, Nahshon Wright is actually being used the way that he should have been used by the Bears, where he didn't have that opportunity with the Cowboys. That's it.
Yep.
Right. But again, that was Dan Quinn making a selection, and then he never used the kid. Well, and then of course the next coach didn't have anything to do with Nahshon because he wasn't one of his guys either. Gone, and he was gone. That's it.
Right.
This goes back to my whole idea of pro coaches. Stay the hell out of the bloody draft. Stay out of the draft. Do not no. If you have the ability to coach in the NFL, you could coach whoever the scouts bring to you. If you're not capable of doing that, you don't belong in the NFL. That's my bottom line.
Yeah, well, a lot of them can't help themselves, as I'm sure you know. And while there are some coaches who are also able to be effective evaluators, you're asking a lot of yourself at that point. Like, it's hard enough to coach, to also say, I'm going to, stay up and watch tape, and I'm going to go to the Shrine and the Senior Bowl and go to, College Gridiron Showcase. Like, I understand the whole, Bill Parcells, if you wanted me to, to cook the meals, at least let me pick the groceries. I understand the mindset, but it's just too hard for most.
It is. And if you are coaching in the NFL, you're coaching a game these kids have not played. They don't understand what they're going to have to do to be successful NFL players for the most part. They don't get that. You need to be able to coach those kids. Don't worry about what school he went to. Don't worry about his size, his talent. You'll see that on the field. You'll see that in the film room. That's where you're going to see that successful player, and you can coach anybody. Don't put it into your head that because I only run a cover 2 defense that I need this type of a player here, that type of a guy that no. If they would let us actually run a football team, Bill, it would be a scary thing.
It would be pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, one of the things you learn if you do this long enough is that talent comes in all shapes, sizes, and all different kinds of packages. And the reason that people miss on the Cooper Kupps of the world, and they miss on the Darryl Greens, and they miss on the Aaron Donalds,
Puka Nacua.
Right.
Nobody was going after Puka Nacua at the draft. The Rams did. Hello.
Right. Bryce Huff is now being paid quite handsomely, but when he came out of Memphis, he went undrafted. So the fact is, if you're good enough, in many cases you'll still get your opportunity. But the evaluation process for a lot of teams still centers on, it's changing slowly but surely as the sort of meathead approach sort of starts to bleed out, and there's more and more focus on what you can measure. And, obviously it's things you can't measure, but trying to figure out, can you essentially figure out the ways that you found the right players in the past, right? How did you find the right players in the past, and how can you continue to do so going forward? And I try to blend both, a certain amount of understanding of what analytics can tell you and what they can't. I mean, there's limits with sort of a feel for the player and a feel for what they know how to do and what you think they can learn how to do. And that's sort of I'm fine tuning that process to this day, and probably will always keep fine tuning it. But that's where I am in terms of my evaluation process now. And so I am looking at statistics. I am looking at physical performance and, height, weight, speed, and things like that. But you also can see how much a player wants to be on the field. This guy play through things other guys maybe don't play through. Does this player, commit himself to? Does he go to the coach and say, "Hey, let me return this punt"? Right? Yep. Even though he's a starting wide receiver, a starting running back, but he knows the team needs a spark. I look for those kinds of things. When a guy is willing to run down and cover a kick when he's a starting defensive back, that's one of the things that I always look for is, are you doing as many things you can do to help the team?
Yeah. And special teams actually matter.
Super matter. Really yes.
Which, again, I have to say this over and over and over again when I'm covering a game or talking about what happened in a game. Did you see that block punt? Did you see the block field goal? Did you see that punt return, the kickoff return? That's all how you score in the NFL, guys. Yep. Those things matter. Right, but everybody, but the quarterback, it's the quarterback. No, it's not just a quarterback.
I mean, drop punt and a couple of missed field goals basically turned the tide in that Texas A&M game.
Texas A&M game. And again, Marcel Reed, like we said last night, he didn't learn from Drake May, who steps up in the pocket. Had he stepped up on that play, he would have given his receivers more time to get themselves either back to him or, find an opening somewhere else in that end zone. But he didn't do that. He stepped backwards. He went backwards. And again, why was I? And again, last year, you recall when I said that Shedeur is going to fall. He's not going to be a high-rated guy by the NFL scouts. Why was that? It's because he was always going backwards. Always going backwards. You cannot succeed by going backwards in the NFL.
Yeah, he had pocket presence issues. Yeah. And the fact that he has an okay arm, but he's not a guy that can sort of gun in certain kinds of throws. He's a really terrific touch and anticipation thrower, though. Mm-hmm. I feel like it was a combination of things, and I think there was a little bit of the Saunders factor, just the fact that some people aren't big fans of guys who maybe aren't afraid of how good they think they are, how good they know themselves to be, and will tell you, flat out that how good they think they are. Like, there's a fine line. People want confidence in a quarterback, but the same. Sometimes it's more the way the package is delivered than what's inside of it. And you could take from that what you will. I think he could have said some of the same things he said, and maybe if he just said them somewhat differently or timed some of the things differently, people would have heard it, it would have landed differently. But that's right. I think he still ended up being a decent pro quarterback for a long time.
Oh yeah, like I didn't say that he's not going to be a successful NFL quarterback. I just said he has his issues within that pocket. And that is going to be a big factor why NFL teams are not going to take Shedeur Sanders. And remember when I did that mock draft when I had him going late in round 1 and everyone was screaming at me, oh, no, oh, no, oh, no. I'm sorry. I saw that coming. I saw it coming.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with his dad, who, as you also know, I'm not a huge fan of either. It drives me nuts that people think he's the best Cowboys corner ever. No, he's not. No, he is not. Good Lord, no. He was there for 4 seasons. He is not the best. And Larry Brown won the MVP award. Deion Sanders didn't win that in Super Bowl 30. No, it was Larry Brown. Wonder why. But again, everybody loves Deion. Well, I wasn't really a big Deion fan when he was with the Falcons or the Niners, and especially with the Cowboys, or even later on with the Ravens, because he didn't like to tackle people. I'm sorry, Trayvon Diggs is in the same category for me now. He doesn't like to tackle people. If you're a football player and you're playing defense, you have to tackle people. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, yes, you have to. And he did force people to avoid him, and that's why whoever played on the other side of the field got a lot more opportunities. But he was, I would say, he was a better tackler than some people give him credit for being. But you're right; it wasn't his favorite part of the position. No. Definitely not. No, I agree.
And again, these corners who come into this league that don't do that, but are superstars. What? No, give me Darrelle Revis. Thank you very much. Darrelle Revis hit everything that was in his sight. He hit everybody. That's what you want.
Yeah, Rod Woodson, right? Another guy who truly complete, came up in run support, helped out in special teams for a good portion of his career as well. And, when he did get his hands on the ball, I believe he holds the record still for total non-offensive touchdowns by a defensive player between,
I think so,
interception returns, special teams, and scooping scores. I think he's still number one.
Yeah, I think he is. It's now 51-26.
Well, guess what? They'll have to get the ball back, go down and score again, and which I think they will. And then they'll go for 2 again.
Again, they got to get under the 20.5, right?
That's their goal.
So, which one of the two coaches that the Tulane and the James Madison coach, which one will have the better season next season?
Well, I mean, Sumrall is going to the better situation, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Florida just needs literally just a few tweaks, and they're an 8-win team. Boom. While UCLA, I think, is a longer, slower process to get. I think they'll get to 8 wins, but not immediately. I think that is maybe a year.
I've got UCLA winning 6 games next year.
Yeah, right. I think they'll get to 8. It'll take another year longer, probably, than at Florida. Yeah.
Florida, I'll give them 7 wins. But again, they're now the bridesmaid. They have fallen off the recruiting map compared to the Miamis, the Georgias, the Alabamas. Florida just isn't the same type of place to go to anymore. You know? And those things happen. That's what happened. Look.
Yeah. No, I understand.
Notre Dame for years, Jeff and I always said, Notre Dame needs to get corners and a quarterback. Well, guess what? They've got the number 2 recruiting class next year. Their cornerback situation is already very good with Leonard Moore and the other freshman that's playing the slot this year for them. They replace Christian Gray next year with one of these 5-star kids that they've got. That defense is going to be a nightmare for teams to face next year. They will be an absolute nightmare. As long as Chris Ash doesn't pull the same stunt that he did against Texas A&M, the Fighting Irish will be fine. So, Bill, tell everybody when you're going to be on again.
College football forecast will be returning very, very soon when we get ready to preview the next round of the playoffs next week. That'll drop on Friday. Also, I am getting ready to publish my first position rankings of the cornerback class.
Yo, you got the corners. Ah, yeah. There's some very good corners this year.
Yes, sir. So that's what I'm working on right now, and
How many guys are you gonna put on the list?
my top 25, and there'll be at least 3, maybe more guys from FCS
Yes.
on that list.
Yeah. You have an Aztec on that list?
Oh, I almost by law, I'll have an Aztec on that list somewhere. Yes.
Yep. They, every year, it's just I have 4 Aztecs on my board right now, just like you do. So, again, our boards end up being fairly close to one another.
Usually they're pretty similar. Our boards usually align pretty well.
Yeah. Randall and I were like one spot off with everybody. It's like I've got one guy at 51, he's got him at 52. It's just bizarre. Yeah. But everybody, we will be back after the final game on January the 1st. It'll be interesting to see. And as the sign there says, everybody have happy holidays.
Yes, everyone do. And, be with those that love you and those that you love. This is the time for family.
There you go. And everybody have a good time and take care.